great.
And
Good support.
those little spring suits that have got the kind of bikini bottom on them. My daughter's, getting into bodyboarding now, Lani.
Yeah.
And, I got to try and find one of those things while I'm on the road.
Oh, okay.
Probably in Brazil, huh?
Yeah. Or I don't know if you want your daughter in a Brazilian one, but...
yeah, true. I'll have to get a custom made with a big nana bottom on it.
Exactly. But I'm sure one of these girls would be able to point you in the right direction.
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, I think they're pretty cool. They're really feminine, and it's kind of like you don't see the surf girls, on the World Surfing Tour wearing those things, and that's one of the things that, I've always said that if you want to ride waves and you're a girl, a great way to do it is jump on a bodyboard. I mean, you can still surf and maintain real femininity because, surfing on a surfboard using your arms all the time, you tend to see the surfer girls have got the bigger shoulders and all that, whereas when you're a bodyboarder and you're kicking your little legs all the time, the end result is, nice legs and a good bum.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All the bodyboarders, men and women, have great bums. Yep.
All right,
Got it out there.
There we go. So Marta Fernandez is doing a little victory lap there, and she's pretty stoked. But Andrew, we are into heat number 1, round number 2 of the Sintra Portugal Pro. As we said, Joe Pinheiro in the red, Goncalo Ferreira in the white, Helen Lareo in yellow, and Rui Pereira in the black.
Wow, here we go.
Yeah,
It'd be interesting to see the tactics too, because I don't know if a lot of these guys would have been into the format of the 4-man priority system. They're probably used to more than just any waves up for grabs, and they hassle each other. So it's that's another aspect that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, you betcha. And the dynamics in and around the 4-man priority system. I mean, personally, I think it's been a real mastermind from the IBA to introduce this thing.
I agree.
What it's done is it has taken away a little bit of the hassling, and I was talking to some guys from the Portuguese Surfing Federation yesterday, some of the main players, and they said, we used to like seeing a bit of push and shove, like in rugby league or any other sort of sport where there's a bit of man versus man sort of thing.
Yep.
And I said, but you know what the other upshot of this whole thing is that when you're paddling for a wave and you've got unrestricted rights to it and no one's hassling you for it, you can actually put yourself into a perfect position on takeoff, and 100% of your brain is like dedicated towards riding the wave.
Yeah.
So I think since we've introduced 4-man priority, we've actually seen a slight rise in performance levels.
You've got yellow looking up for a big section.
That's a nice little way to open up your campaign.
Yeah, that's a nice flip. Still going too.
Yeah. Well, Helton Rio, of course, from Brazil, and this guy's a machine. He's really going to combo this thing right the way to shore.
Wow, that's a really good way to start your heat. But yeah, getting back to the priority system, I was off the tour and I came back onto the priority system, and it's going from chalk and cheese. Going from trying to hassle every wave. It's really frustrating. You've got the replay here.
Yeah.
It goes up.
Well, you can see that nice big major move on the outside section. That's part of the criteria.
Yep.
He continued with nice flow, good transition from one move to the other, kept his speed throughout the ride, and then he just signed off with a nice, good punchy roll, and then he just threw the board away and said, I've made this, I'm done.
Exactly. Really stamped it that the judges, look, I made it, I'm clear, I'm exiting, I'm pulling off. Because there's always been a little bit of a question mark sometimes if people, they just kind of get swamped by the whitewash. Did he make it? Did he not? He's really showing that, no, I'm in control, I made it, and I'm diving off.
There's two sort of messages at the end there. One is the wave's finished with me, or I'm finished with the wave.
Yeah.
So, you've got to make sure you send a real clear message to the judges, and they know you're in control right to the very last moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you'll get rewarded quite strong for that.
We're just waiting for scores to come through for Helen Nareo, and right now we've got coming up in heat number 2, Mike Stewart, Alex Arunga, Dave Winchester, and Alberto Colucci. That is one of the most stacked heats in round number 2. After that, we'll see Roberto Bruno, Benedetto Lashua, Chase O'Leary, Mark McCarthy. That is horrible to be in that one, and it would be disgusting to be Sam Bennett against Manuel Centeno, Jay Navia, and Hugo Pinheiro. Those second round heats are crazy.
Yeah, that's really... I can't stress enough how tough these heats are,
and how stoked you are that you're not in round 2.
And how stoked I am that I'm in here commentating them as opposed to riding them. You can see Hellerton kicked off with a 6, so I think that's a pretty good score to start off. The judges haven't gone too bananas with it. They want to set a good platform to see what could happen. We've got Rui Pereira looking for the left, bit of a roll through that. He's going to make it through the sides. Yeah, not too bad. And he's going to probably look to capitalise on the shories as well. If it's going to reform, decides to kick it out.
Yeah, well, he's always been a very good surfer from Portugal, Rui Pereira.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big man. He's probably stands around 6'2", 6'3", so he's a lanky lad.
Yeah.
And he normally really just kills it in big, heaving, tubing waves. He loves his big barrels, Rui Pereira. But, he can mix it up with the rest of them, the small stuff as well. So he's off to a nice early start in this one.
Yeah, I think it's with these conditions, it's really tricky. So I think getting off to an early start, even if it's just a 4 or a 5, just to kind of get that wave under your belt. It's when you're looking at the clock and it's 20 minutes down and you haven't caught a wave yet, it can be really daunting. You see, we've got a replay here.
Red.
Oh, that's a nice flip. Joao Pinheiro with a nice ARS. He's going to get around this. We didn't get to see this live. That was a really good flip to start off with. He's getting around the section. We worked hard for that. That was good. Flip to a roll. I think that'd be a good score for Joao Pinheiro. That was took over the nice left flip. It was interesting to see what the judges give that. You worked hard for that second roll, which is good.
All right. Well, we're just waiting for scores come through. Rui Pereira, Joao Pinheiro, Helton Loureiro, as we said. The Brazilian opened up with a nice little sizzling combination of 6.0. Here we go. This is Goncalo. And, that was a nice bottom turn, hey?
Straight off the bottom, straight up into the roof.
Super good.
That was good.
Man, he's still got some skills, this guy.
He does.
What do you reckon? I'm pretty sure he's like 38 or something.
Oh, yeah.
He's not a young fella. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah, he's been around. Like I said, I've been coming here for almost 10 years, and he was, wouldn't say he was one of the older guys, but he was more of the established guys.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
It's like I said, it's great to see him still going, and it looks like he's lost nothing in that.
Yeah, no, I was at a little bar last night, just a couple of beaches that way, and he just rocked along, and I said, "Hey, mate, what are you doing?" And he pulled up a chair and had a beer with me.
Yeah,
and,
he's that kind of
guy.
guy.
I thought, what a cool guy! Like he's got to compete tomorrow, and he just was telling me about some local stuff, and no, he's really stoked to be in the competition.
Yeah, that's good.
But that I really like that nice old school bottom turn. You could just see he just comes square off the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Straight off the bottom, straight up the top. Yeah, it's a lot of guys these days. Not that they don't do it, but they don't do it enough. I think from coming off the bottom and going straight back up the top, it's kind of almost a form a little bit lost.
Yeah. All right, well, there's a little break in the action, folks. We're going to throw down to Natasha Salgadia from Puerto Rico. She has Marta Fernandez, the winner of the previous heat, for an interview. Natasha, take it away.
And here we are with one of the most beautiful Portuguese bodyboarders, Marta Fernandez. And Terry, let me tell you, this girl was in your country training for how long?
4 months.
1 month?
4 months.
4 months. 4 months. She was studying and she was training in the Australian waves. And she comes back to her land and now she's, making first places in every heat. Obviously, she's comfortable with those waves. She's one of the most young athletes from Portugal, girls, that it's been doing a very big career. Tell us how were the conditions and how happy you all feel being back home.
I'm very, very happy. It's always a pleasure to be here and to compete at Sintra. It's my home. And what's hard to get the first place and to get good waves in this heat because of the high tide. But I'm so happy. And it's always good to be here at Sintra Pro because 2 years ago I was working, doing my internships, and it was impossible to be here, and it's always nice.
Marta is one of the students of Caterina Sousa, or in a moment of her, her beginnings, she was very near Caterina Sousa, that is obviously one of the most known Portuguese bodyboarders around the world, female. And what do you think about those role models you have? Rita, Dora Gomez in the past, and obviously Caterina Sousa.
It's always nice to have them because they are professionals at the moment, as well as they are always motivated. Especially Caterina, because I'm more close to Caterina than Rita. But Rita, it's always been good motivation as well. But Caterina, it's always a nice vibe around Caterina. Caterina is always don't be stupid, and you have to go. Even if I am down and I don't want to come to the competitions, Caterina is always don't be stupid, Marta. You have to go. And always a pleasure to be here, and because we are always pushing the limits, and to see you. Well, when I was in Australia, seeing you, like all of you, I was so happy because like the standards of the human bodybuilders are so high. It's really nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. And that's why we try to be all of us unite and to produce the best bodyboarding we can have and to prove that bodyboarding female bodyboarding, it's pretty good and it's getting better. So congratulations, and we hope you had an incredible competition here at home. And we go back to you, Terry. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Natasha Segala. She's such a beauty, isn't she? Bonita, they say in Spanish. I'm pretty sure that's the word.
Yeah,
but
she's having a good time. They're just having a good old chat.
They are
aren't
loving life. I mean, look at it. You couldn't wipe the smile off with a cricket bat.
Yeah.
But no, really good stuff there. And Marta Fernandez absolutely blazing that heat. And, that wound up a very exciting round 3 for the girls. And, of course, they'll be back again tomorrow with more action in round number 4, where we're going to see some more of the top seeds of women's bodyboarding here at the SINTRA Portugal Pro. Yeah, we had a little bit of action also whilst we were having that interview, Andrew. So let's go back and check some of the replay rides and make sure you people at home don't miss out on a second of the action. So, some cool little replays coming up.
Yeah, we've got Hellerton. This, that was pretty good flip, that one. that was good, nice and smooth. Into a spin and then a bit of a roll. Wasn't the best of rolls off the end section, but still he completed it. So again, kicked out. So that was a good wave, and it's cemented his position in at first. The judge has given that a 4.33, so he's sitting on a 10.33 at the moment. With Joao Pinheiro only on a 1 wave, but with a 7.75.
Wow,
so that's a huge score.
That is a huge score for the Portuguese rider in red.
Yeah, so he's really only needs a 2.58 to go to first, so he's could really potentially take a stranglehold on this heat. Rui Piero with a 4.25 and a 3.13. So he needs a 3.51 to go to second. And needs a 6.08, which is still very, very achievable for someone of his caliber to go to first. And Gonzalo, he's got a 5.25 and only 1 wave. So he's looking for a 2.51 to go to second or a 5.09 to go to first.
Yeah, that wave, that 7.75 from João Pinheiro in red, I mean, that puts him in another class. Also, that we had a 6 in there for yellow.
For Hellerton.
Yeah, for Hellerton. So, I mean, those sort of scores, all you need is one or two of those sort of scores to really separate yourself in the field. It's been a real day of kind of 5 to 5.5s.
Yeah.
It's just one of those kind of mediocre kind of days where it's hard to really get something outstanding.
Yeah, exactly. If you can get yourself into into high 6s, or if you can bust into the 7s, and obviously if you'd like to go north of that as well. But if you can get into a 7, it's really it really gives you a bit of confidence too out in the water too. You're hearing that guys, you might be coming third, but they might say you only need a 2 or a 2.5 or something, and it really gives you that confidence that I can only need a half decent wave and I can cement myself in the first or second position.
Yeah,
so,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we got whilst we're waiting for a couple of waves to come through, we might pay a couple of bills and we'll be back with more live action from the 2012 SINTRA Pro right after this. Yeah, thank you very much to our friends at Samul, and I really like their ad campaign.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool there.
Yeah, I'm thirsty.
It
thirsty.
does.
I'd love a drink
Yes.
after that. And love to go for a car ride as well with her. As we get back to the action, well timed. Hellerton, look at this, driving off the bottom. Getting through that. That was a nice roll.
How's
Tough
the way that he
section.
kind of tweaks the board out when he does that? It's
kinda
weird.
cool, eh? Yeah, it's a bit different.
When he did it on the roll before, I thought I lost a little bit of control, but I reckon he's actually trying to just tweak it out a little bit as he
just
does
kind
that.
of little bit of a point of difference.
Bit of variation.
Yeah, and if it's only a 0.2 of a difference, it's going to it could be the difference between him getting through and not making it. So he's really keeping busy out here as well, I've noticed.
Well, have a look what we're talking about, folks, and there it is
There's that
there.
little wobble.
He just kind of throws it out and across and then back under.
Yeah.
And, that looks like a deliberate attempt to have a slight variation on what is just a normal standard meat and potatoes roll.
Yeah.
That is Helen Reyes' portfolio at the moment.
Hey.
26 years of age. He's a bit of a homie. Look at him. He's loving it. He's a bit of a jokester. He's from Brazil.
Yep.
76 kilos. There's not much of him.
6'2". Quite long.
76 kilos and 6'2".
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's kind of...
He's a string bean.
Yeah, he's a string bean. Thin and tall.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he's using that extra length in his arms to get that high rotation. So he's really keeping busy too.
Well, there's one man who needs no introduction, Andrew, pulling on that red singlet, of course, is the iconic side of Mike Stewart. And, at almost 50 years of age, Mike Stewart is still up there with the best in the world.
Yep.
I saw his heat this morning. It was pretty unlucky, actually. He got a couple of really good waves where he got some real solid combos happening, and then he fell off on the last move, or he just got kind of shut down.
Yeah, exactly.
So he just lost some valuable points at the end there, but he was in, as good a form as ever, and, just such an inspiration.
Yeah, and not only that, it was, it took Ben Player to get a 9-7 to overtake him. So, and that was by far the highest heat of the score of the day.
Yeah,
Bench,
there you
reverse
go.
air, and then
Yep.
spin and roll. So, Mike, although he's found himself in round 2, he's still surfing okay. So, it's great seeing him pulling on a Rashi, and although he's heading towards 50, I hope for another few years we get to see him pulling on those Rashis.
Oh, absolutely. He's never going to say die.
No,
I
that's
mean,
right.
with his macrobiotic diet and his special training regime and stuff, he's going to be around. And he hasn't subscribed to the whole concept of growing old.
No, that's right.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's super fit.
Well, he's up against the Basque Country local, Alex Aranga. Alex has been in real good form this year, and I was saying earlier that Alex has had some really close calls this year where he's been in heats where it's been really touch and go.
Yeah.
And he's been just on the flip side of the good calls. So, he's had, you have years like that where, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. This year hasn't gone Alex's way a lot. He's had a lot of super close ones where he's just missed out.
Yeah.
He's now in round number 2, and, he'll be really hard to beat out here, I can imagine, in this sort of stuff. It's kind of got that Basque kind of summer, European summer feel about it. We've got Dave Winchester coming up. Dave needs no introduction. Neither does that guy there from
Alberto
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Alberto, very, very proficient in kind of wind swells like today. They get a lot of that stuff down home.
Yeah.
So,
and he came through the trials and, surfed, 1,000 heats through the trials and, has been surfing really well. And he's into the big leagues and, he's competed against these guys for a few years too, so he's not going to be overawed by the names he's surfing against.
That's right.
He'll really take it to these guys.
Well, look at the game face on there. You can just see him take a big breath in. He's put the Rashi on and blew out of a bit of stress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got to get yourself in the right frame of mind to go into a battle like this. I mean, he's come all the way from Venezuela. He's spent a lot of money. He's got sponsors. He's got his government have backed him. You got to try and put all that out of your mind. Just focus on the waves and focus on your performance, don't you, mate?
Exactly. Absolutely. You as soon as that Rashi goes on, everything else just disappears. You think about, what you're going to do for these next 30 minutes, and have a game plan in your head, and you've really got to stick to it.
I remember just a basic sports psychology spiel that I heard years ago. We'll come back to it after this wave of black. Here goes Rui Pereira.
That
was a nice carving reverse.
That was really good if you can get back up to the lip.
Yeah, well, with standard sports psychology, I mean, you've got two types of athletes. One is the process athlete who thinks about the process of winning. What am I going to do on the wave? What comes up next? Where am I coming? What have I got to do to get up one spot or whatever? And then you've got the outcome athlete who tends to focus more on the trophy, the sponsorship, people that are watching on the beach and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
If you fall into that second category, you can get yourself in real trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's all that stuff is going to pull you away from what you really need to be thinking about, which is the original process of riding waves and winning heats.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You can't, a funny piece of advice I was told a few years ago. You can't win the final from the first heat. What I mean? You got to get to the final first. So
that's right.
It's small little steps at a time, and think about really you only need to catch 2 waves in each heat.
Yeah.
So if you just concentrate on what you need to do on those 2 waves, and don't even think about the other riders in the heat. Just think about your own game plan and how you're surfing.
Yeah.
And and then if you do that and you stick to your game plan, generally the results will follow.
All right, well, we've got a split peak situation at the moment.
Cool,
that was a nice little wave there for
Gonzalo. Look
Wow.
at him. He's really winding back the clock, isn't he?
He is. I like his style, man. And you
Yeah.
know what? It has a bit of that old school flavour to it, but he's also got some kind of new school funky moves going as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's and he's milking this all the way to the beach too. So look at him go. That's going to be a really strong scoring ride for him.
And up and
Nice
over.
roll
That is
too.
great determination there from our
Yeah.
local wildcard, Goncalo Ferreira, and you can hear the crowd in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Whistles going, the boys are all fired up. They probably have a couple of Sagres under their belt.
Yeah.
Let's check the replay. Andrew, take us through
Yeah,
it.
so he's coming up again. That nice bottom turn coming around the section, and then goes straight up, nice and clean.
Nice.
Bang. Yeah, that's really good. Really clean. The judges will like that. Bit of a cutty into a forward, mixing it up a little bit, and then I think he comes into a cutter reverse. Little cutty here again, just kind of milking it through. There's the reverse. So he's changed it up a little bit too. He hasn't just done the same spin, one spin,
Yeah.
whatever. He's
Yeah.
mixed it up, and then comes in and really stamped that wave with a
Wow.
with a
Well,
finishing
he
move.
he
The
really needed a good second wave, and
Yeah.
he waited a long time for that.
did.
And I tell you what, that's going to be very interesting to see what sort of. Oh no! What the?
Yeah, he just hearing it over the loudspeaker, but I think it's going to be. Well, I think it's going to be better than his first ride, which was a 5.25, and it is. It's a 6, so it's put him into first. So that's he waited, and yeah, he's done really well with that.
Well, good things come to those that wait. That's what they say.
Yep,
I mean, there's a
definitely.
couple of ways you can skin the cat. You can try and go out early, build yourself a house, put down the foundation, all that stuff.
Yep.
Or you can just sit and wait. And, you know, we've seen Ryan Hardy has been a
Oh,
great
yeah,
example of that
yeah.
over the years. But it can come back and bite you, can't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hardy, he'll 10 or 2. You know, he'll
Yeah.
get out there and get a 10, but he won't take off and
No.
and just get the 2 or the 3 that he needs. He yeah, stubborn bugger. He'll just wait for the 2 10s and
I love it.
Yeah, I know it is.
Yeah.
It's great. It is. It's really good. Yeah, and that's right. It's different kind of ways of attacking it. Someone like Galami, for instance, Tamiga, he'll
Just
go
keeps turning his
yeah,
waves
yeah,
over.
He'll just turn his waves over and
Yeah.
keep building that house, and generally he ends up building a mansion.
Well, you end up, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you end up with a big house in the end of it. But you tend to keep, when you keep turning your waves over, you tend to keep your rhythm in the heat.
Yep.
I always found personally when I used to compete that, you know, if you waited too long, you kind of felt like you fell out of rhythm a little bit. And you'd see other guys getting waves and you'd freak me
Start to
out.
stress, yeah.
Yeah, you'd start to build your stress levels. So, yeah, there's heaps of ways you can go about it. But
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of good. Some people adapt to or change, depending on the conditions. Like if it's really inconsistent or slow, some people might try and get a couple early just so they're not scaring at the end. Where if it's really consistent, they might just wait for those sets. Yeah, it's interesting at different tactics for different tactics for different folks, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, we have around about 7.5 minutes remaining in this heat, folks. You are watching heat number 1, round number 2 of the Sintra Portugal Pro, coming to you live from Praia Grande in Sintra, Portugal. A real classic little part of the world where it's surrounded. It's got a real kind of a royal flavour about it here. It's where all the kings and queens used to live in Portugal, and they call it the heart of the romantic heart of Europe, and rightfully so. I mean, I went up to that, and I've probably told this story a few times to the webcast viewers, but I'll
haven't
tell
heard
it again for you.
Absolutely.
But I remember when I went up to the castle a couple of years back, and I went, wow, the first time I saw the Sintra Castle, and I was walking through, and I went on a bit of a thing, and I went out onto this balcony, and this balcony led out into this big valley where you look down over all the hills and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And you can just imagine the history over the
Oh,
years,
yeah,
that,
yeah.
like some queen or a king's been out on there and sipping away on their little port or something. And I thought, imagine bringing your girlfriend here and dropping down on your knee and like proposing to someone
God.
there. That's why they call it the romantic heart of Europe.
Yeah, I bet.
It's so cool. It's such an awesome place. Not just the waves, but the local surrounds and the history, the long history that goes with Lisbon. I mean, you know, it's one of the first properly structured cities in mankind. It goes way back. It's crazy. Have you ever been down on the foreshore down there and seen the concrete boat, the big boat that's made out of rock?
No, I haven't been through to Lisbon. Oh, I've got a rider up here. We'll get back to that. We got Rui Piera just rolling through to the inside. See if he's going to get another section. He's looking for it.
Well, Rui's chasing about a 6.25
He's going to
with 6 minutes to go, and that's going to really help his cause. Prior to that, he had a 4.25 and a 3.13. So I think he might have got rid of the 3.13 on that one. He's beached it.
Yeah.
And with about 6 minutes remaining, we'll wait for that score to come through and give you an update. But yeah, down on the foreshore, down on the riverfront in Lisbon, there's this boat that they made in whatever the 1600s or 1700s or something. Yeah, way back, and it's carved out of rock, right? And it's a huge boat. And at low tide, you can walk out to it. But when the tide actually comes up, what happens is it looks like it's floating in the water.
No way.
They built that because back in the day, when Lisbon was, the port to the galaxy, and that's what Portugal stands for, Portugal, port to the galaxy. So, it was the center of the universe at one stage.
Wow.
They built that so when the Spanish or whoever it was like they were against at the time, they'd come in and they'd see this big boat that was made of stone and go, there's no way we can take these people on. They've got ships made of stone. Yeah.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, there's just cool stuff like that you can see. It's really nice history in here. That's
Absolutely.
for sure.
I kind of get annoyed at myself because I come to these beautiful places and I come to the beach and I go back to where we stay and then we come to the beach and go back to where we stay.
Yeah.
Might go to a castle and then go home.
Yeah.
And it's like there's all these amazing places that had I had more time I would have done that this year, but things like that, I had no idea about that.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I come in the day before the contest, fly out the day after. It's all, it's all business as usual for guys like us. We've all got other jobs at home and that we got to do as well.
Yeah, but I'd really like to, spend some time at places like this because, take advantage of being in Portugal.
Learn about the history. Well, there's a whole bunch of guys enjoying their bodyboarding, folks.
He's got his Safe Porto T-shirt. Beautiful.
Yeah, there we go. Mate. You can buy one of those at the CC board store tent right here at the beach at Sintra. And, of course, all proceeds going to a very good cause. Don't forget, tonight at the Mar Bar, we're going to have the Save Porto Film Festival. It's the third international festival of cinema, and it's going to be pretty cool. Well, João Pinheiro moved into the lead. Goncalo Ferreira up and riding at the moment. It's gone down into second. Helton Loreo's down in third, and Rui Pereira, he got a 4:08 for that last wave, so it did get rid of his 3:13.
Yep.
But he's now chasing a 7, and Helton in a yellow.
He's dropped down into third.
Yeah, and he's needing a 5.26. So I reckon Helton Loreo is real. Goncalo Ferreira is going to have to really try and hold on to this.
Yeah. He's going to really need to get rid of that 5.25 if he's got.
Yeah.
If he's going to secure his second place.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know
absolutely. Well, there's the current standings on screen, folks. João Pinheiro sitting in first, Goncalo Ferreira in second, Helton Loreo in the third place, and Rui Pereira in fourth position. But yeah, can that man in the white singlet hang on to second place? Well, mate, I don't ever have any people that I favour in the IBA. Everyone's just same to me, and I love them all. But I must admit that I'd love to see him do good. Yeah, I'd love to see him do good.
Yeah. You can also see just how important that João Pinheiro's 7.75 is.
Yeah.
It's a really important score. He's only got a 3.83 as his second score. So, the other guys are chasing 5s or 6s or whatever to improve. He's only got to knock down a 3.83, which he could do with one move.
Alrighty.
So this heat is still really open.
Yep.
Yeah, with 2 minutes to go. It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah, always, yeah. And I was saying to the band player the other day, look, there's my little thing when I wrote it. I said, in the last 3 minutes, I reckon most heats are won and lost. And here goes Black Rui Pereira. This is going to be the last blast for Rui.
He's looking for a 7. Oh, that's a nice big roll.
That was good.
If he can combine this with... the waves just didn't really allow him to do much. He was after a 7.
He was chasing a big score. That was the way to open up that ride, but he really needed to combo that thing all the way to shore.
Yeah, that's right.
Get those sort of scores. You can see Red just screaming out there, João Pinheiro, like, where am I going?
Yeah, exactly. What's going on? Where am I at? Am I first? Am I second? But, I completely agree. The last 3 minutes... It's almost like you may as well just have the heat. Start as 3 minutes and everyone's on, with a couple of points difference.
Well,
because that's a big roll, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you add an opportunity to get around this section there? Just broke before he got to it. He could have, he could have been pushing onto that 7 if he had gotten another roll or something.
So wonky out there at the moment, Andrew. The tide's right in. It's kind of filled right up, and it's got these crazy little side waves that kind of go across the ride, and it makes it very, very difficult to try a really nice clean line.
It's really, you're right. It's very difficult because the pool at the north end off the hotel.
Yeah. It's a bit of sidewash.
Yeah, it's got this sidewash, and I don't know if you can really pick it up too much on the screen, but you kind of can when the guys are riding it, and sometimes you can actually work it to you in your favour, where you can kind of get to the lip as it's sidewashing and kind of give you a little bit of an extra push. But on the other side of that, it can really screw you when you're going up to hit a section and you get this little wobble that just throws you off. So, yeah, you got to pick and time your rides for sure.
All right, well, João Pinheiro, current heat leader, had a little look at this one. This is Helton Loureiro. Well, this is absolutely the last blast. And
oh, he could have maybe rolled there instead of spun.
5.25. Is he going to try and get this score?
He hasn't really grabbed the judge's attention, I don't think, yet. He hasn't really had that one strong roll. I think he could struggle to get the score on that.
Well,
I wouldn't want to be a judge, but I don't think that's a 5.25.
I think the body language pretty much summed it up there from Helton Loureiro. So João Pinheiro and Concalo Ferreira, our local wildcard, sitting 1-2. Well, we'll wait for that score to come through for Last of Yellow. Yeah. But as Andrew Lester just mentioned, a 5.25, yeah, that would have been his best wave. And